Hello everybody. Today we're going to work on the air vents and some small stuff on the firewall. I did some preparations earlier and decided that I wanted to use rivets to secure the air vents to the fuselage. But many people don't do that. Many people only glue them together. I decided I had too many rivets in there, so I only need 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom per air vent. So we redrew the rivet parts. I don't know why people have a problem with rivets, because there are thousands of rivets in the fuselage. I'm not sure. Anyway, I decided that I wanted a few rivets, just, well, first of all to secure it while curing the glue, but also what's the problem there anyway. There is one issue if you use rivets. If you use normal rivets, so not pull rivets, but normal rivets, you have to use the rivet gun and the bucking bar, and you need special plates for that. I found out that if you don't do that, it will break the plastic. You can see that here. We use the squeezer to make special plates. So I dimple them, and it gives them just a little bit of, let's say, flexibility to rivet the plastic without cracking it. Works very good actually. So next up, we're going to glue the air vents to the fuselage, and we use special polymer glue for that. It's just a normal kit glue. So we degrease the parts, and then we apply the glue. We use the rivet holes so that we can attach the air vents with glicos. And as you can see, we put the small aluminum washers that I made on the other side. We also glue them a little bit. You can see here, a little bit of glue on them, and that's where later we can use them to rivet everything together. So I think with only 6 rivets per air vent, that's not a problem. I don't see the problem there. While curing, we are going to work on some small things on the firewall. For instance, now we're working on the brake fluid cylinder. So the brake fluid cylinder should also be airtight to the firewall. So I just installed it, and now we are going to glue it together so it won't put any fumes in there. So that can also cure. And then next part is the actual air vents on the inside. So where the fresh air comes into the cockpit. There are standard air vents, but I don't know, many people say they are a little flimsy. So right off the bat I ordered aluminum air vents, black aluminum air vents. They're very nice. So we need to install the brackets, and it takes some time because you have to trim some material off and make it nice, because you can only use 3 holes in there and not the 4th, because it's the construction of the vents panel. So we are riveting the brackets, and then we continue on the air vents again, because well, we're just switching in between different tasks. You have to be careful there, because the vent lines that we did in the previous video, it is routed around those air vents, so you have to be careful there not to break anything. The glue is still curing, so we just keep it going, and we're going to do some other stuff. For instance, we're now working on the brake lines itself. So the brake lines go with a bulkhead through the firewall, and it needs to be tightened and torqued, and then we can put some torque seal on it. Continuing with riveting the air vents. As you can see, it works very well. you can just use the normal rivet gun and the bucking bar, as long as you don't put stress on the plastic itself. So yeah, be careful there. If you directly either buck or rivet with the rivet gun on the plastic, it will definitely crack. It will definitely break. Here's a view from the inside. What I already did is I made the forward part a little bit black on the outside, because I think that gives less distraction while you're in there, and it's mostly under the panel anyway, so that's not a problem. And yeah, now we can install the hose for the air vents. Okay, well, that's finished. We now start with the battery holder. So I decided to use a single battery. You could use a secondary battery, but I think that's a little superfluous, and also it's of course heavy. Fortunately, the Vans manual says that you have your right to build your own battery holder. Fortunately, the battery I bought comes with a battery holder from aluminum, so not from steel or something like that, because it's mostly used into race cars, and they also want stuff to be lightweight, so that's good. I modified it a little bit because well, it's an aerobatic plane, and it's not always will not always stay up. So yeah, you have to be careful there that it won't fall out, of course, the battery. This camera position is a little bit awkward, but yeah, we're fitting the battery holder to the forward firewall, and especially in combination with the firewall recess. But it all fits very nice. Instead of a second battery, I decided to use a very big capacitor. So we use a capacitor for if something goes wrong with the battery. Of course, the engine we have, a UL power, is dependent on having electricity. So we use a capacitor for that, and at least you can have then, let's say, half an hour of ECU power. So that gives you enough time to fly to an airport somewhere in the neighborhood, so you can make a precautionary landing, if that would ever happen anyway. We're now attaching the nut plates to the battery holder, so it can be tightened to the firewall. I decided it's probably a little bit overkill, but I decided to put a very small rubber layer in there. It protects the battery from directly touching the aluminum, and it reduces vibrations, and it makes a really tight fit. Again, it's probably a little bit overkill, but well, it doesn't hurt. We have to turn it around shortly, because we are going to work on the horizontal and vertical stabilizer. They are all, of course, all finished during the empennage part, which is the first part that we finished. But now we have to do, let's say, the final assembly of the horizontal and vertical stabilizer to the fuselage. The way the plane is standing now, that's not possible. There's not enough room. So we have to turn it around. Okay, continuing building my pie in the sky.